Hi, we're Touring Treasures.
And this is our opinions on the MCU movies ranked.
Number 23, The Hulk. So, The Hulk is pretty much, agreed, the worst movie in MCU. Change of actor definitely didn't help it.
No, not at all. I mean, I barely have seen any of The Hulk, and I can't even watch it all the way through anymore.
I've sat through it one time for the sake of being able to see it. It's the worst movie. It just is.
It's just one of those movies, and it's in the MCU, but literally no one has seen it, or no one even knows it's in there. Number 22, Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange one. It's not bad as it is. Nothing happens. It's boring.
Yeah, they had such a good character with Thor, but they didn't do anything with him.
Yeah, took them far too long to get him right.
Well, when they did, they did it well.
True, but yeah, Dark World.
Yeah. So it's on the bottom of the list.
Number 21, Iron Man 3.
So, I'm going to be honest, I don't absolutely hate Iron Man 3. But compared to everything in the MCU, it doesn't do anything. It's same with Thor: The Dark World. It just has Iron Man in it.
Yeah, the thing about Iron Man 3 for me is it doesn't sit well. They kind of tried to do anxiety storyline, bring in real world issues, but it kind of was a bit of get over it kind of thing, between the back and forth with him and the kid. Kind of didn't sit well, but the movie itself's fine, I guess. The problem is it didn't further any stories, he blew up all the suits, made more suits, nothing stuck.
Yeah. The only real thing that I like about Iron Man 3 is something they do in Endgame, but that's it. Number 20, Thor.
Now, Thor was different. It wasn't bad, it wasn't hero versus villain as much as an internal battle.
Yeah, him sort of becoming the hero, him becoming Thor per se. It was a good setup, but again, we're not saying it's a bad film. Just ranked against everything else, it's not that good.
It just kind of meant nothing. If you've got the first Thor, it was fine. If you had it built on it with Dark World and then got to Ragnarok, that would have been one thing.
Yeah.
But kind of Thor and the Dark World down here, just kind of took away from that, and the end battle was pretty lackluster.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just not really a great Thor, but it's the one we got.
Number 19, Captain Marvel.
So, what can I say about Captain Marvel? As a character, I'm not a big fan of Captain Marvel. Not a fan of any of the Superman type heroes who are indestructible and can just do anything and they're just the most powerful. The movie itself, it's a pretty good movie. I love Nick Fury in that movie. He is perfect for the role. They did build up the character of Captain Marvel pretty well though.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have a sour taste in their mouth about the character and therefore just assume the movie's terrible. It's not.
Yeah.
But that is what it is. And it being well on the list doesn't say much about the movie because the movie itself is fine.
Yeah.
There's a lot of strength in MCU in the movies.
It's, like we said before, we're ranking it against the other movies. Doesn't mean it's bad. Just against the other movies, it's got a lot of competition. Number 18, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
This will probably be the divisive one for me. I've heard a lot of people love it. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I don't know, the bad guy wasn't a bad guy. The actual bad guy was weak. And it was just kind of, I don't know, trying to recapture what they had in the first one, I thought.
To me, it sort of felt like they tried to set up a movie with Ant-Man just for the fact that they had to justify where he was during Infinity War. He wasn't there at all, I mean, fair enough. But compared to the first one, it got the humour right. The humour is spot on pretty much throughout the whole film. But it just doesn't cut it for me.
Number 17, Iron Man 2.
So, Iron Man 2. I've heard a lot of people talk about it differently. So the way I've got it described to me was Iron Man 2 itself is a bad film.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot.
Yeah, but in comparison to it building up to, I think it was the first Avengers, that one was building up to, by memory.
year.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, so that building up, because that's when Nick Fury comes in and tells them about the Avengers Initiative and everything. Yeah. So that being a build-up...
Which you'd already known about in 2006, the Hulk.
But everyone ignores that.
Don't worry about the Hulk.
Yeah. The fact that it's a build-up, that's good. But as a film, again, it's... I mean, I'll watch it,
Yeah,
that's about it.
I don't think... If Whiplash is the villain, I don't think he needs anyone else. I don't think he needs mad scientists with money. Whiplash is...
No.
He's incredibly smart.
Yeah.
He's shown in the movie, so I don't know why he needs someone behind him. So, just kind of an extra character for the sake of it. I think Whiplash is a fine villain. He was okay in the movie.
Yeah. The movie was a bit of a disappointment, really, for any scene of action, which, again, happened a bit more in Iron Man 3.
Yeah, Iron Man had a strong character, strong actor, and probably let down a bit by the movies. Same with Thor, really. But
yeah. Number 16, Captain America, the First Avenger.
It was a really good origin story.
Yeah.
It's going from man to superhero, as showed his change, and it was good. It's believable. One big problem I have in origin stories is, like, they turn into whatever they are.
Yeah.
And then they're just straight away beat the bad guy. But it kind of showed that he was always the same. Like, he's always the courageous person, brave person.
Yeah.
And he would act that way. He just didn't have, like, the physical body to back it up. But now that he did, he could, like, the skills are transferable.
Yeah. Well, I just sort of feel that with the first Captain America, I personally wasn't a big fan of Captain America to begin with. Later on, through movies through the MCU, I started to actually really like Captain America. Like you were saying, the first movie is probably one of the best origin stories for the original cast of the Avengers. But besides being an origin story, it's a pretty good action film, honestly. And looking back on it, it's still good. Like, I still enjoy watching Captain America, but there's just other Captain Americas I prefer personally.
Number 15, Spider-Man: Far From Home.
So,
Wasn't as good as the first one.
no,
Wasn't bad.
Full disclosure, Spider-Man is my number one favourite superhero of anything ever.
I'm at the same, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was pretty tough for me to put him down this low. Mysterio, I personally love Mysterio.
Yeah.
That one nightmare scene where he's just messing with his mind, I loved that so much.
Yeah, I think one thing that this movie has that some of the other movies don't is it does a lot for Spider-Man's character.
Yeah.
It builds him into more of a serious character, and that's what you need. Like, you introduce him, then you build him up, and that's what he needs. Like, if you've got... And the other thing about it is if, like, you know, it's true, they've got a 6-movie deal for Tom Holland, I think.
From what I remember, that sounds
I think
about
that's
right,
what it is, so it looks like Sinister Six.
Well, I'd love a Sinister Six movie. I mean, absolutely.
Yeah. Like, even it would have been good when it was Amazing, even though Amazing was trash. But
Yeah, but yeah, the Sinister Six is Sinister Six.
Oh, no, I know it's bad.
Yeah.
No, but... Yeah, I don't know, they haven't... It looked like he was gone, but... You never really know.
Yeah, he could still be alive.
Like, he's the illusionist, like, you know, anything can happen.
But if you take Mysterio out of the movie, and I get that, like, obviously you wouldn't, because that's the point of the film, but the rest of the film's just kind of we already got the build-up for Spider-Man as a character in the first film.
Yeah.
And this is sort of feels a bit of the same, just without Iron Man.
Yeah. And I'm not sure about revealing him this soon if you've got 6 movies to work with.
Yeah.
The only thing is, it looks like it's going to be Kraven Hunter.
I
That makes
hope
sense.
it's Kraven.
I thought they were going to do Kraven next because it seems like they want to steer clear of what other Spider-Mans have done. They want to be their own franchise, and that's good. So I thought Kraven was next. He's the next logical choice, really. So, but if it looks like that's what going, it makes sense. But maybe they should have pushed that back.
Yeah.
Like, they've still got whatever Scorpion's doing.
Yeah, he's still in prison.
Coming, so maybe something else could have been done, but we'll see what it is. It'll be good. It was Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
It's still a good movie, regardless. Number 14, Guardians Vol. 2.
I actually like this movie more than I see on the internet that other people like this movie.
Okay.
Obviously, it wasn't what they had in the first one.
No.
But Dave Bautista is the greatest person I've ever seen.
Seriously,
Oh.
anything that man did on set is awesome.
He steals the scenes, like Endgame, Infinity War, Guardians Vol 1, Vol 2. Like, he's just so funny.
Yeah. He grew in the second one. I loved him more than the first one. Honestly, he was more comedic in this one, I reckon.
His comedy changed.
Yeah, where in the first one he was sort of like
He was
the
like
dumb sort of character.
Yeah, he was like dumb lumbering around. Like,
Yeah.
He was funny because he didn't get what was going on, kind of thing.
But now he knows he's funny.
Yeah.
So he's going for it.
Batista's really like taking the character on that.
Yeah.
Especially in like improvised lines like you'll see in Infinity War. That's hilarious.
There's a beautiful line.
But yeah,
The rest of the movie's just sort of... It's good. I like that they actually showed us what Quill's dad was. I personally didn't know anything about the Guardians before the movies.
yeah.
And that we got the build-up with Gamora and... What's her name? Nebula, thank you. But, again, we're ranking these movies against Titans.
Yeah.
And these Titans are Titans for reasons.
Though in terms of deaths, Yondu was pretty good.
Yondu's was tragic.
That part of the movie made it like brought it up. I reckon it brought it up at least a few places.
For a movie that I knew nothing about any of the characters, I really was upset that he died.
Yeah, and I'm glad that they gave his power to the next dude, but that won't be Yondu.
No, you can't be Yondu Mark II.
Yeah, you can't replace him, but I love the arrow, so I'm glad it's still there. Number 13, Black Panther.
So, I know that you personally are not a massive fan of Black Panther.
I think it's probably a couple places lower. I know people love it. I think the message behind it is good.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is good, but I just the part that I don't like about it is you should want the hero. That's you want that in a superhero movie. And I liked Killmonger better than T'Challa.
It is a fair point. Like, in the movie, Killmonger's supposed to be the bad guy, but he hasn't really done anything that wrong in the movie.
Yeah,
in his past,
he kind of destroys Wakanda's heritage because, like, he was exiled and all that.
Yeah.
But the part, like, he did the least wrong.
Yeah. I kind of wish that they did keep him alive. Him dying, I get why he died, and it was a beautiful death.
Yeah, I think him, like, choosing to die over going in prison, like, said a lot about his character, and it made sense. So that in itself was good. I would have liked the character to stay, as he said, but can't have everything.
And again, with the same with, like, Guardians, I knew a bit more about Black Panther personally before going in the film, but seeing the film, I again really started to like the character. It was one of those films that showed me what the character was and what he could be.
Yeah. All the characters in Black Panther were really kind of good and well cast. Like, Shuri is... Like, it's a pretty shame that we didn't get, like, crossover with her and Iron Man.
Yeah, so, that would be awesome.
And then M'Baku.
Maybe something with Spider-Man, though?
M'Baku. Yeah, maybe with Spider-Man. But yeah, like, the characters were good. It was strong. The part that I don't like is obviously I was kind of rooting for that guy. But, like, it's fine. Like, it's a good movie.
It's a solid movie, yeah.
If you're talking about it as a superhero movie and you're rooting for that guy,
something's
it's not done its job.
Yeah.
And that's the only downfall for me.
Number 12, The Avengers.
The problem with The Avengers is they kept making good movies.
Yes.
So every time a new movie, down the list. Really good movie, but it can't keep up. Like, it's outdated.
If we were to rank this when we first saw The Avengers and it was all the other films, Avengers would be top. I reckon, no questions asked.
Yeah, if we'd made this in 2012.
Yeah, exactly.
Avengers top list. Oh, actually no, but yes.
Yeah, yes, but no.
Except for one.
But it was just an awesome movie to see that all those characters brought together. It was an awesome action scene, And they also started the whole Thanos thing.
Yeah.
Not many people also saw that coming, I reckon.
There's one thing that I don't like about the movie is that why would Thanos give Loki 2 stones?
Yes.
I think they hadn't quite figured out what they were doing yet.
Yeah, I think maybe with like the scepter per se, they didn't really know that was going to be a stone, or maybe even the Tesseract. Like, they might have known that there would have been stones, but...
You would have thought if he's doing this for years, he'd know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. That's the only bit. But Mark Ruffalo coming in as Hulk was...
the best thing they could have done, yeah.
That was so good.
Yeah. And the whole chemistry between him and Iron Man, it's just, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He really should have got a standalone movie somewhere in that. Number 11, Ant-Man.
The action was awesome. The villain was kind of weak, I won't lie.
Yeah, I kind of like a weak villain in an origin story.
Yeah, it was a good build-up for an origin.
Most of the movie is him not being a superhero or being not very good. It took him a long time to be good. And that is the point for me, like...
That's an origin story,
yeah. Like, you can't... I'll explain why in the next entry. But it needs to be realistic.
Yeah.
For an origin story to me, and it was. So it was good. It was funny as. It's probably one of the funnier ones to date, I'd say, by 2015.
By 2015, yeah.
I think it was where it ramped up the comedy.
Yeah.
From memory.
I reckon from then onwards they sort of realised that comedy could work with their films, especially if they didn't push it too hard.
Yeah, like Iron Man always had it, but it wasn't kind of the same. Like,
yeah, I mean...
It was sarcastic and...
But again, that's his character per se.
Yeah, that's his character, but it was really the...
It doesn't land as well, yeah.
Like, look at Thor Ragnarok versus Thor 1 or 2, like...
Yeah.
It's just, the comedy's spiked.
Number 10, Doctor Strange.
Now, a lot of people would have this lower, and they don't like the ending, and this is what I was talking about in the last entry. I really like the ending. If you keep up with the comics or whatever, I'm not the biggest into comics, but I have a general idea. So, Dormammu is one of the stronger characters.
He's essentially a god.
Yeah. So, if you're watching a movie and Doctor Strange is nobody in the first, like, not a superhero in the first half, then he's struggling, then he finally, like, you know, figures it out, and he's good, like, and he's taken on, I can't remember his name, but the group of 3 followers.
Oh, yep.
So how is it realistic for him to defeat Dormammu? Like, it's not. So he outsmarts him, and like Dormammu, he's not gonna stay if he can't. Like, he can go conquer whatever worlds he wants. Like, why would he, you know, waste his time on Doctor Strange if it's just gonna be stuck in this infinite loop? And it made sense. It's like you can't just defeat. You can't
just suddenly have this hero become ultimate and defeat a god in the first movie.
Yeah, like that's good origin.
Yeah, and like if he had done that by the time Endgame had come around, the question would have been how come he couldn't just snap and kill Thanos? He killed a literal god.
Yeah, so that is a part where I like. Benedict Cumberbatch, excellent casting.
Yeah, beautiful casting throughout the whole film.
It's good to see the evolution of character. It's over a short period of time, which it has to be because you've got to fit it all in.
Yeah.
But like it's a solid origin story. It's what it should be. Number 9, Guardians of the Galaxy. It's different to the Avengers, where the Avengers are all heroes and they band together to defeat the greater good. The Guardians aren't.
No.
They come from different walks of life and unite for a common goal. And like they're all the same in a way, like broken people. Like,
yeah. Well, like
they don't have families and all that, and then they become their own family. Like it's a good story. Like people coming together.
Well, like with like Rocket and Groot, they're literal thieves. Like they're just the start of the film is them trying to steal from people.
Yeah.
And or search down a bounty. I'm pretty sure is what it actually is.
Yeah, bounty hunting.
But none of them are good people. Like Drax is a world destroyer or something like that, is he? He's.
I'm not sure.
I can't really remember.
He's just kind of like blind vengeance.
Yeah.
It shows him in the thing. The movie he wants to kill Gamora because she works for Ronan. Which is strange because at the end of the movie he goes, it's really Thanos I have to kill.
Yeah.
But he doesn't care that she's the daughter of Thanos. Like it's Ronan. Because I know. And
as a fan of 80s and 90s music of any sort, that soundtrack is beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. I personally listened to that soundtrack for a while after it was out. But I reckon they nailed the comedy, the soundtrack, the visuals. It was also just one of those movies that, like I said, no one knew about the Guardians. Like, obviously people knew.
Yeah.
But it became so massive because of how good the film was.
Yeah.
Not just about the characters.
Well, they had to get it right, really, and they did. Because Phase 4 was rumoured to be, I don't think it is now because it's going to be pushed back,
Yeah.
but heavily featured space. And really, if they didn't get Guardians 1 right, and didn't follow it up with, like a decent sequel,
Yeah.
like, it probably wouldn't have opened the door for that. And they did it well, and that's where we are now, so...
Number 8, Age of Ultron.
Don't dislike this video. It is the most underrated movie in the MCU. It just is. Like... I really don't know why people don't like it. I don't know. I really like Quicksilver. I prefer Quicksilver to X-Men Quicksilver. And I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion.
The one from the X-Men movies?
Yeah. I prefer...
Okay, yeah.
Age of Ultron's Quicksilver.
Yep.
To the X-Men movies one. I like the actor. And his death was too soon.
Yeah.
But his death was really cool. Like, end of the story it built with Hawkeye. It was short, and it was like a sub-story, but it was really cool. Other than that, like, it's an Avengers movie. All Avengers movies are good. They just are. Like, crossover movie, like, you got your heroes on the screen, that's all good. Brought in Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch is really cool.
And Vision. They brought in Vision as well.
Yeah, Vision was there.
Yeah.
Not the biggest Vision guy, but, you know, like, Scarlet Witch was cool.
And it continued the whole idea of the stones.
It's really important to Tony Stark's arc as well.
Yes.
Because he's, like, actively trying to, like, he's got it in his head from the Avengers first one. That Thanos is coming, this is death on the world. So he's going to be mad, like, trying to prevent it. And that's his arc from Avengers to Endgame. So, yeah. And it's an important part of it.
Well, I feel like your problem with Iron Man 3 with the anxiety, they deal with it a bit better there, with, like, just showing it and not someone saying, "Oh, just get over it."
Yeah.
It's him actually going through the motions and dealing with it. Number 7,
Iron Man.
So the actual beginning of the MCU.
Yeah, ignore the whole clock.
Yeah.
Pure origin stories is the best one.
Yeah. Just movie, in fact, the movie itself is also brilliant.
Yeah.
For its time, like, it might be starting to age a little bit.
I don't know, I think it'll always be popular. I think it's always going to be the start of the MCU.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's going to take the Hulk into account. Change of actors, all that, piled on with it's a bad movie. Iron Man is how the MCU should have started.
Yeah, which, to anyone who actually has seen the movies, it's how it started. Like,
yeah.
I literally didn't know that one of those Hulks was in the MCU until close to Infinity War. Like, I always thought that they would eventually make another Hulk film.
Yeah. Thank God Tom Cruise is shallow. Yeah, I don't think the movie in the MCU would have worked as well if it was anyone else.
No.
It's hard to imagine anyone else stepping in the same role and playing it similar, like in the same way. Yeah,
he's just a perfect actor for the role. He's
Yeah.
Already pretty sarcastic sometimes.
Yeah, I'm really not kind of... Why wasn't he their first choice? That's
a bit odd, yeah.
It just strikes me, like, just seeing him, like, even the first one at the time, it's like...
That's Iron Man.
He looks like he should.
Yeah.
Like, it's all as it should be.
He also pretty much already looks like what a lot of the comic book versions of Tony Stark looks like.
Yeah.
He was the perfect role.
And it's not obviously shown in this one, but as it turns out, he's perfect for the role. He has excellent chemistry with the rest of the actors. If we're, like, you know, Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, Vanes, and Scarlett Johansson as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. Mark Ruffalo, as we spoke before, like, it all just worked. And it worked on the back of Iron Man 1. Number
6, Spider-Man Homecoming.
Spider-Man is the best. Number 5, no. It just... There was a time where there was a big movement between Donald Glover as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, that's what I want to see. And then he wasn't, and Tom Holland was, and I think it was around Amazing Spider-Man, but I'm glad he didn't have to touch that. That's gross.
Yeah.
But Tom Holland is really what Spider-Man was written in the comics to start with. Like he plays it so well.
We have said this over and over throughout this list, but the MCU, whoever's in charge of casting there,
Except for the Hulk movie.
but we ignore that one. Whoever's in charge of casting is brilliant at their job.
Yeah, well, and like the Vulture is like not my favourite villain.
He's an okay villain.
I love the Vulture in the MCU. I think it is fantastic. And there's a little bit of redemption which gives me doubts about Sinister Six and his
involvement.
Yeah.
I do like that the Vulture was a bit more of a redeemable character. I do have one personal problem with the Spider-Man movie. I am kind of a fan of Shocker. The cartoon version. The movie version, he's okay. I like that they got the classic Shocker look with the vest.
Yeah.
But that's about all they did good for me.
They changed the Shock halfway through.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It meant... But like between them, they didn't get much screen time each.
No.
It wasn't much of a character. We don't know what happened to the second Shocker. So there is room for him to come back and have a presence. Like there's 6 movies to come.
Yeah, he might even be one of the Sinister Six per se if they do a Sinister Six.
It would make sense.
Yeah.
Vulture redeeming him no, and he's going to go off with this. That makes sense. Hopefully they build on him as a character. Number 5, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Sebastian Stan in First Avenger.
Casting.
Really good as Bucky. Really good. It was stepped up a notch.
Yeah.
Winter Soldier. It was really good. With Anthony Mackie coming in as Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
Really good as well. It's nice to see different characters interact and outside of the Avengers. It doesn't have to be everyone, but with Black Widow, Falcon, and Captain America, that was solid.
Winter Soldier is where I actually started to really like Captain America.
I think if you look at who your favourite characters are and put that aside, if you're looking at movies, Captain America's the strongest set of movies.
It is one of the strongest sets of movies. It is constantly good. None of them get worse. Like with Thor, the second one is worse than the first one, but the third one's better than all 3.
Yeah, and as you see in the list, it builds the right way. It goes from first one, second one, third one, and that's what you want. That's the side effect.
Yeah.
So it's a really good movie. It has powerful moments, like when he's ordered to put up the ships. He says no, Captain's orders. That's like he's just a dude. And all the other ones as well. But he's along the lines.
Yeah.
It's like they do the right thing because that's what Captain America said. And Abed's in it. And I love Community.
That's another factor, yeah, no.
I want it number 1.
I also really like the interaction between him and Black Widow. I thought having Black Widow becoming a bit more of a stronger character than the side chick in the Avengers was a really good idea.
Yeah, well, I think her character progression was quite good. If you look at her introduction of Iron Man 2 into Endgame, like she goes from, like she's playing a role, like she's meant to be like trying to flirt with Iron Man. But like she's meant to, like that's her role, she's flirting with, and it's the same at the start of Avengers, trying to get her way. And then it builds up. She's like kind of the core of the Avengers by the time it's Endgame. And this is part of that.
Yeah,
like it's part of her growing, and it does well. And
number 4, Civil War.
This is kind of less Captain America, more Avengers. Like, it's about Captain America's story, but it's everyone's there, everyone's, got their opinions. It was nice to see Bucky as the Winter Soldier, but as, like, as with the superior team, like, fighting for the right side.
I also feel that with the whole argument of it being more of an Avengers film, it also strongly goes with the Iron Man story.
Yeah.
Like it goes with his backstory with his parents, and then it concludes with pretty much why they're not together in Infinity War, why they are separated.
It's very important. Infinity War is like built around this, like directly with this movie.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the first Avengers.
Yeah.
Because Iron Man's conversation with Loki, they'll come. And so they have a falling out, obviously. So there's two different sides to it. Thor and Hulk are, off in space with the other space people, Guardians. But yeah, so then they all come together, and it's like the same thing. I know they kind of don't, because it's more tight than that. But it really does set up Infinity War. Number 3, Avengers Endgame.
When we first saw the film, we had our problems with it.
Yeah, it felt like we were picking it apart when we saw it. And then we watched it again, and it was what we should have been watching the first time. We were just like able to be like, alright, set aside what our issues are with it. Just watched it, and we really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Little details. I like how, it's just a tiny thing, but Black Panther, when Hawkeye has the gauntlet,
yeah,
he's like, Clint, give it to me. And he, in Civil War, he's like, hi, I'm Clint, we haven't met. And he goes, I don't care.
Yeah.
But he remembered. What a nice guy. Just little details, and it's just full of them.
And it's that end fight scene is the perfect conclusion for me for just the build-up we've had for all of the MCU movies.
Yeah.
And slight spoiler for anyone who hasn't seen it for whatever reason and is watching this list.
If you haven't seen it, go.
Yeah.
It's the best. Except for the other two. They're on this list.
The end funeral with Iron Man. I really like the small detail of that there's just a random kid there and then it clicks. That's the kid from Iron Man 3.
Yeah. Just the small details in it are great. Yeah. I like how the end battle wasn't heavily reliant on Captain Marvel.
No.
But she did a lot in a small amount of time. That was really good. The thing is with it, if there's so many possibilities, surely there's thousands of possibilities where they win, not just one. But
that's probably why we can't justify putting this at number 1 or 2. Number 2, Thor Ragnarok.
You could argue between this and Endgame, which is higher. I think we gave it a bit of extra because it is the best standalone movie.
Well, yeah, the Endgame is obviously going to be good. It's got all the characters from all the movies. Thor Ragnarok, it's got a couple of extra characters like Hulk and Valkyrie.
I love Valkyrie. I think she's a great character.
Yeah. But it's still technically a standalone film. It follows Thor.
They all are, like Black Widow's in a bunch.
Yeah.
They've all got people in it. Iron Man's got War Machine. They've all got people.
Yeah.
But it's what Thor should have always been. And it's not just that it's a good movie on its own. It's a good movie in that they saved Thor. He's getting a 4th movie, no one else was.
Yeah.
That's positives. And
got no complaints about a 4th movie for Thor.
yeah, and it introduced fun characters, Korg, Meek. They're good filler characters for Endgame and Infinity War. And they're very funny. I love Korg. Korg's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know, it was just the right funny action. The villain was really good. And they didn't defeat her,
no, she was too powerful for them to defeat, so they got a giant fire god to kick her pretty much.
There's no clever tricks aha, I did this.
Yeah.
No, it's just she was too strong, and so they outsmarted her. Number 1, Avengers Infinity War. The best MCU movie.
This is what it was all leading up to. I get that Endgame is the end, and the end battle is awesome. But for me, get rid of the end battle. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
But it doesn't beat Infinity War. Same thing. Get rid of the end battle with Infinity War.
Strong movie.
Yeah, I would much rather watch Infinity War over Endgame, personally.
Yeah, and it brings characters together in different ways. A lot of Guardians, so to speak, and with the Guardians. But Doctor Strange, there's a lot of funny quotes with Iron Man. That is the wizard. Spider-Man, what do they want? And he's like, they're trying to steal a necklace from a wizard. It's funny I didn't realise we're using our made up names. They're just funny first interactions with people.
Yeah.
And that's, you can only have that once. But it's just good comedy for the movie. The end battle it's set up well that Thanos is the big bad guy.
And
it would take everyone to beat him.
It's exactly like Thanos is only really in it when he fights. Well, I mean, he's in it a bit more, but he's mostly in it when he's fighting against Iron Man and his group.
Yeah.
And the rest of the group's fighting against just his soldiers per se.
Yeah.
And they're kind of losing to the soldiers.
Well, when he goes to get Vision's stone,
Yeah.
like he just
appears.
runs through him.
Yeah. He just doesn't care.
Like, and that's good. It shows why they need everybody to beat him. And you don't see it often in movies. The bad guys winning. It happens. But you don't see it. Doesn't happen in the MCU. And we all know it was part 1.
Yeah. Yeah, but
it's the best movie.
To us, it's the best one without a doubt. Like, there's no argument towards anything else in our opinion.
Yeah, as soon as we saw it, that was it. And we saw it in game, and it was still bad. Like,
yeah,
Infinity War is the best.
Mm.
And I liked seeing like ragged Iron Man.
Yeah.
Not Iron Man, sorry, Captain America. Come out and he's like not clean cut like he has been. Like, and I wish he had like
stayed with that, yeah.
Look, because bit of desperation-esque things.
Exactly, yeah.
So, I don't know.
It was just pretty much like when we walked out of Endgame, we had some problems with it. When I walked out of Infinity War, I couldn't wait to watch it again.
Yeah, I think we must have gone a few times.
Yeah, we definitely saw that one a few times.
It's just so good.
I mean, Endgame, I've seen plenty of times since then.
Yeah,
I still enjoy Infinity War over Endgame.
Yeah, I think Endgame is good, just not the number one. Infinity War.
Yeah. Cool beans. Well, thanks for watching, guys.
Our socials are in the description below. Follow us and let us know your MCU rank.